The call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday, happy weekend, and welcome back to the Pod at the Palace. I'm your host, Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas. Just walked into my own home here in Fayetteville for the first time in a week, I guess it's been. Drove back from Omaha today and just trying to, like probably a lot of you have been, just process, how we're supposed to feel with the athletic calendar just officially coming to a close. It's summertime. We're turning the page from 2024-25 to the 25-26 calendar. And some of you might be a little bit hesitant to do that. We're going to talk about why that shouldn't be the case, or why I hope it's not the case. You can see the background is my living room once again, which means I am tired. And I did not want to set up the whole Pod at the Palace studio, a.k.a. our spare bedroom that we have converted into an office. Anxious to spend some time with my wife and my dog, but I do just, I still have a lot on my mind that I want to get off my chest, and I want to use this as an opportunity to kind of go off the cuff a little bit about Arkansas's hunt for that elusive national championship in one of the major sports, particularly men's basketball, because that's what we talk about right here on the Pod at the Palace. But before we do that, got to tell you about our sponsors for today's episode, starting with our friends over at HD Roofing and Construction, guys. You know what? Those storms can hit unexpectedly. It's happened a lot. The weather's been rough. Mother Nature has not been kind. And when that happens, sometimes you need a little bit of peace of mind about what's going on up top on your roof. Contact HD Roofing. They'll come out and take care of you with a free inspection to give you that peace of mind that you're looking for. When you go with HD that you're going to get professionalism, top quality materials, and expert installation. Hit them up and get set up for that free inspection today. 501-428-0429. You can give them a call. Check out the website, hdarkansas.com, or use that nifty little QR code up there in the top right-hand corner of your screen. And we're also brought to you by our partners over at Basis Health. You know that they are just changing the way that healthcare is delivered with those mobile medical visits. When you're sick, you're feeling crummy, you're running a fever, you're throwing up all over the place. Do you really want to get in the car and drive across town and sit in a waiting room? No, you don't. Why don't you have a doctor come to you? That's exactly what they do at Basis Health. Whether it's urgent care, primary care, IV, hydration, or more, Basis Health is there for you when and where you need them the most. Hit them up, basishealth.org, or once again, that nifty little QR code right there in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Okay. Man, it feels, it's crazy. Like you're doing a lot of reflecting. You're looking ahead. You don't know if you should be excited. You don't know how you should feel about what just went down, but it's over. The 2024-25 athletic calendar. Football season is come and gone. Had its ups and downs. Finished with a bowl win. Was it mediocre? Was it a step in the right direction? You could argue that whatever way you want to. Basketball, everything that went down there, certainly a roller coaster ride, and we all remember the ending. Baseball, just right there on the brink, and then it crushes us again. And now we get ready to just, wipe the slate clean and do this all over again. But what a ride it was, just the mix of emotion, the highs and lows, the jubilation, the devastation, the roller coaster, honestly, doesn't even do it justice as a description for what we experience as fans. And that's why it's short for fanatic. It's a little bit different than the way you approach other things in your life. And, I honestly think what happened to the baseball team in Omaha was the textbook example of the existence of the Razorback fan. You get treated to just a legendary memory that's going to be etched in the history books with what Gage Wood was able to accomplish with that no-hitter. I'll never forget that. It's the type of thing I'm going to sit down with my son one day and say, hey, we're pulling this up. You got to see what Gage Wood did in the 2025 World Series. Man, you fight and scratch and claw your way so far and so close that you can taste it. That elusive title that we're all so hungry for, that we want so bad. And then it's not just that you lose or that you fall short. You come up a little bit short against a better team or something like that, or they just got your number on that given night, but it just happens in the most devastating and surreal, and as much as it sucks at times, just almost embarrassing fashion to where it just dominates the national headlines on repeat for the next several days, and you have no choice but to relive it over and over and over again. And honestly, to some level, that was kind of the same type of ride that we had with hoops. Think about our first basketball season with John Calipari at the helm. The hype and excitement just through the roof, only to kind of stumble out of the gates. It never really felt right until the end. Just the injuries, didn't have your whole squad available most of the time. You stumble out of the gates in SEC play. You're 0-5 in the league, but then you get that win at Rupp over Kentucky that flips the season, right? And you're flying high and you feel great, but then you get clipped at the buzzer by Ole Miss in the SEC tournament and you get eliminated. But then you beat Bill Self in Kansas in the NCAA tournament. I mean, how can you forget the sheer emotion and the magnitude of that win over St. John's there in Providence, just beating Rick Pitino and all the history there with him and Cal, and you did it in a hostile environment there to get back to that Sweet 16 for Coach Cal and getting rid of some of those, those early exit ghosts that have haunted him over the course of the last few years of his career. And, all that to be, frankly, just kicking Texas Tech's butt up and down the floor for what it was almost 35 minutes just to blow a 16-point lead there and, get stunned in overtime. And you have to spend the next 2 days just seeing all the haters in the national media and elsewhere just taking those victory laps because it fits their anti-Cal agenda. When we were sitting at DJ's dugout Wednesday doing our post-game show right after the College World Series elimination against LSU, I couldn't help but get deja vu. Just, thinking about trying to just process what happened to the Hoop Hogs that night in San Francisco in real time. Because it happened so quick. I mean, you think about how quickly everything went down there with baseball, with obviously what happened with the throw to first base, who should have got that ball, whatever. The Hiva, he went to third. Why didn't he turn the double play? Oh, the ball in left field, he slipped. What the heck happened? Oh, almost got out of it anyway with the play at second base. It clips off the glove. Wow. Oh, what? The season's over? Okay, let's go live and talk about it. You didn't really have time to settle. And that's exactly how I felt in San Francisco, where Arkansas was in control to the point where I was even thinking, man, I might be able to leave the Chase Center a couple minutes early, get over to the splash bar and get set up for as soon as the buzzer goes off. They kept clipping away, had the weird, the world's quickest jump ball with Nelly Davis. And then, here's a three, there's a three. Next thing you know, overtime. And it was the first time that entire night that it actually felt real that Arkansas might lose this game. And then that old familiar feeling that drives you nuts, it creeps back into your head and you go, they could really kind of choke here, couldn't they? And lo and behold, Arkansas winds up losing that game. And I just remember being live in the moment for the Pod at the Palace postgame show. And it was like every 15 seconds, a new moment from that game would resurface in the mind and you dissect it and you try to overanalyze it. But then it was the realizations hitting that it was over. That team we would never see again. And it honestly felt like we were just getting to know them because they were finally showing us what they were capable of. And they were almost healthy. Adu played a little bit. He wasn't fully healthy, but you know what I'm saying? Like they looked like the team you thought you were going to get all year, and you didn't get it till the very end of the season. And you automatically start playing the what if game in your head. And man, it just feels like it's not supposed to be over yet. Some of these guys we would never see in a Razorback uniform again. Are you kidding me? And it just felt like it all happened too soon. It all happened too quick. And that you were on the verge of something potentially special there. I was sad. I was stunned. I was disappointed. I was devastated. Felt all those emotions. But also at the same time, though, it was so weird because just had this sense of humble gratitude and appreciation for the journey that we were able to go through, even to get to that point of heartbreak. And that's what's so interesting about fandom, right? Like the moments I will never forget, the road trips, the long days, the atmospheres, the thrill of the chase, right? That's what gets me going. And that's, that's how folks, that you can never quit on Arkansas. Even when they rip your soul out of your chest, like they did the other night, or like they did that night in San Francisco, you can't quit on them. It's ingrained in you. It's who you are. And the Razorbacks, for better or worse, they're our drug. They're our cocaine. We're always chasing that high and seeing it so close that you can almost reach out and touch it. The what ifs, that surreal fantasy of what it would be like if Arkansas can finally be that last team standing again. Because, man, one day it's going to happen, right? And for me, at least, the reward, it's always going to outweigh the risk of putting your heart on the line and having it broken in this unfair, almost like cruelly scripted fashion. It's like a recurring nightmare. How is this going to happen? That it's never happened to anyone like this before. How's it going to happen to Arkansas? But then you wonder, or at least I wonder, as we were driving back home from Omaha, and I'm thinking ahead about where this basketball program is at, and what the future might hold. Like, will it be Arkansas basketball that gets us there? Because, folks, as soon as the NCAA tournament, the baseball bracket was released, I thought Arkansas was going to win the thing. I love the way that they were playing, and then they were so dominant in the regional and the super, and it just felt like the seas were almost parting in the right direction to open up a path for them. And that only roadblock was LSU. And then you come up short and you go, well, that sucks. Who's going to get us there? Well, could it be the Hoop Hogs? I mean, you guys know me. There is nothing that I would love more. And I think it's why my expectations this offseason have just been so high. I'll be the Yankees or the Dodgers, right? Like, buy me a championship. I'm cool with that. Leave no doubt. But I know that there's more to it than that. Kentucky's trying that method with their $20 million roster or whatever. But Arkansas has gone about this strategically. And I think they've gone about it the right way. They've emphasized the retention and fit and not overpaying. And as Cal likes to say, not tripping over nickels of NIL money on the path to $200 million in the NBA. He wants guys who are there for the right reason, guys who want to win, guys who want to develop individually, not guys who are just trying to cash a quick check and move on. And I like the mix that they have. Guys, Arkansas is going to be in these conversations going into next year. They're going to be in these Final Four conversations. They're going to be on that short list of teams who could get to Indianapolis, where the Final Four is, by the way, which just so happens to be the same exact place where you broke that long and an unfortunate and uncomfortable Sweet 16 drought. Maybe there's something to that town. It's where I met my wife, by the way. But what you have here is an on the verge, borderline top 10 team on paper. And when you have that, it's not crazy to dream big. This is why you brought John Calipari here. And I think as a basketball fan base, we had to just atone for the sins of others for a quarter century after the Nolan Richardson fallout. I don't know, but it's been building towards something great. I mean, Eric Musselman reestablished the brand. He reestablished a culture of winning and postseason success. He reestablished the Razorbacks as a nationally respected brand with what he did here. And Coach Cal's he's not here just to maintain that. Although I think we'll all take a year one Sweet 16 with a smile on our face. I know I am. But he's here to level up the hog. And he's here to take this program to the next step. And wouldn't it be sweet if he did? Wouldn't it be sweet if he did? For Razorback fans who've been just starved for it since the last time the basketball program brought us a championship in the Big Three back in '94. But also for John Calipari, who he's been beaten down and ridiculed and cast away and crapped on more than any Hall of Famer in the history of the sport. And maybe I'm only slightly exaggerating when I say that. I mean, it's crazy. And he's just the guy that everybody loves to hate, and he gets piled on him from all angles at any opportunity. Hell, he had what I just thought was an awesome interview on the Pat McAfee show Wednesday. We're getting ready to do Inside Arkansas Live, and he was on the show there, and it was a selfless deal. And it just reminds me so much of DVH and how he's always got his players back. And, you're listening to Cal and he's just glowing over, his guys that he's coached who are, playing in the NBA finals and everything right now, and telling stories about those guys. And, they were about to cut off the interview and he was like, no, let me tell you about a dude Thero and why somebody needs to take him in the first round. And you can tell he's got a lot of love for his guys. And of course he does something like that and it's heartwarming, and it wasn't too serious, but he had some great quotes, some great one-liners in there. And what happens, Jeff Goodman used it as an immediate opportunity to tweet some shade at him. It's like, why do you feel the need to do that? And, when I think about Arkansas and Razorback fans and just the forever chip that we have on our shoulder, it almost feels right. It almost feels like it's supposed to be that John Calipari gets it done in Fayetteville during kind of the swan song of his career. Like the combination of him and Arkansas being able to stick it to everybody else who's doubted him for so long, it just feels right to me. It feels good to me. What I give for that to happen. And hey, and there's a path that's pretty clear for him moving forward in the next season. I mean, stay healthy. Carter Knox evolves into that alpha that you think he's going to be. Darius Acuff plays like the best freshman point guard in his class, which he's rated as. Malik Thomas makes a bunch of threes for you. I mean, you get that trifecta cooking, and you're cooking, and you get Pringle and you. And we've talked about it all, and we'll continue to break it down from every single angle here on the show. But at the end of the day, I think you can all rest assured that every single year that John Calipari is here at Arkansas, the Razorbacks are going to have enough talent to be in the mix. And hey, I get it. Like he's had that talent at Kentucky, right? And he's got one ring, or as Goodman liked to point out. But having the pieces and the players in the room, that I get it. It's step one of a long road to cutting down the nets, but it's a necessary first step to take. And you feel better about the potential of parlaying that into something special after he exercised some of those March Madness demons with Arkansas here in year one by doing what he did, knocking off 2 Hall of Famers, beating his arch nemesis, and getting back to a Sweet 16. But as we close here, the entire point of my rant, I hope it's coherent. I'll go back and listen to it before I publish it. But the entire point here is that even after the Sweet 16 against Texas Tech and the way that went down, and even after the College World Series the other night, against LSU, and getting burned and just, feeling that old familiar heartache again, it's okay to believe in this basketball team going into next season and going into the future, and the baseball team. It is. It's okay to be excited. It's okay to have high expectations. It's okay to get your hopes up. Jump on in with me. The water's just fine still, I promise. And, will it end in heartbreak? Hey, to some degree, it's likely. There's only one team whose season doesn't end in heartbreak every single year. But one day it won't. One day it won't. They're going to get there. And they're close in a couple of these sports, and basketball is one of them. Knocking on that door, and now you just got to bust your way through. And until then, hey, enjoy the thrill of the roller coaster, the ups and downs, cherish the great memories along the way, and woo damn pig. Am I right? All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, as always. Hope you guys are hanging in there. I know it's been tough, and really do appreciate everybody while we've been here in Omaha and, riding this wave with baseball. A lot of people have been tuning in and listening to the basketball content here in late June. Not a lot of fan bases out there who are doing that, who are supporting a bunch of basketball talk during the middle of baseball postseason, during the primer for SEC football. But you guys do that, and it's because it means something to you. It's because you care. It's because you're excited. It's because you're passionate, and I love it. And I appreciate you guys making me a part of your day. And we're going to continue to keep this thing rolling. So subscribe where you need to get subscribed. You know the Inside Arkansas YouTube channel. You know how to find it. And you know how to find us wherever you listen to your podcast. If you prefer audio form, you can find the Pod the Palace, Apple, Spotify, or anywhere that you listen. You guys have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Hang in there. We'll see you next time on the Pod the Palace. It's been Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas. Have a good one.